I do. How the heck are you? The wind took my can down just as I was trying to get started here. Let me get the music on here. You caught me. There we go. There we go. If you can hear Cheap Trick, come on, come on. Of course, I don't know. I said Cheap Trick, come on, come on. I've actually got two Founder Solid Gold Loggers for it because I'm using my Iron Horse mug, which holds two beers exactly. With no room to spare, but it does hold them both, man. Excuse me while I scratch my nose. I apologize. There we go. 4.4%. I have a lighter beer. I'm out here. We've got a rather nice day in the Ozarks. It's kind of a surprise. We had our first frost, but then it warmed right back up, man. Sometimes that happens. So I decided I'd get the smoker out. I hadn't been able to use it for a while. Well, one reason or another, it hasn't all been weather, but there were some issues, and had a carpal tunnel surgery on this past Thursday, and got the bandage off today. I just got some band-aids on the stitch, covering the stitches now. But I couldn't do this before. But I can, hold that nicely. So anyway, right now I've got two very nice sized sweet potatoes out here smoking, and a meatloaf. I've got a combination of oak, which doesn't give you a lot of smoke, but gives you nice heat, gives you a nice fire to go with, and then I've got some maple where I'm using for the smoke. So again, I got sweet potatoes and a meatloaf that I'm smoking. And then to accompany the meal, I'm going to do some turnips, which we'll cook inside. My mother-in-law really loves some turnips, so we got some the other day, and she's been bugging us to fix them, so we're going to cook them up today. They got a way they cook them. I didn't grow up eating turnips. I only ate turnips in soups and stews growing up. But they like them. They basically kind of boil them down and then fry them with a little, salt, pepper, or sugar. Give them a little sweet, kind of give them a brown like a fried tater, but you have that sugar for the sweetness. And the very first time I had them, I thought they were awful, mostly because I thought it was a potato that I was eating. But I've kind of gotten used to them over the years, and I don't mind cooking them anymore. So my wife's actually doing the cutting for me today, but I'm going to cook them up later. But I'm doing the meatloaf. Oh, very nice. And the sweet potatoes here. My wife really loves smoked sweet potatoes. I've been using some oak wool, a couple of reasons why I had some in too. The smoke is very light, but it does give you some heat. It makes you a nice fire. So that's what I'm using here. And then a little bit of maple, which again is kind of a light smoke as well. So it won't make those sweet potatoes overpowering nor the meatloaf, but it will add a little extra dimension to both products. This is a nice, easy drinking lager. 4.4%, 20 IBUs. I believe it's adjunct free. I'm going to have a drink now. If you can hear, the Who Eminem's front, I don't know the rights to Who Eminem's front. It's one of those left-handed mugs, so I have to hold it with my left hand for you to see the logo there. Iron Horse. Iron Horse is a now defunct brew pub in Joplin, Mo. Very nice glass, though, right? I'm glad I bought the glass. I didn't know they were going to go belly up soon after, but I'm glad I have the glass. This glass has actually been in a box for about 20 years. It's one of my favorite Who tunes. My favorite from this particular album. They were kind of going to hell in a handbasket at that point, in my opinion. But this was one redeemable tune from that album. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that album at all, but this song was brilliant. You could tell the band members were going in different directions, and Pete Townsend was just going batshit crazy at that point. A meatloaf is a great thing to smoke because it doesn't cost a lot of money. If you got the money to buy pork butt or brisket, that's awesome. I love those things. But don't be afraid to smoke, more inexpensive items. A meatloaf, how you like, but put it on the smoker. It adds a little bit of dimension to sometimes otherwise boring American classic. But spin on it adds a little flavor. I tend to do something. My wife likes a traditional ketchup glaze, you know, that 60s, 70s ketchup glaze. And I kind of do that, but I put my own spin on it. Especially when I smoke them, I do some barbecue sauce. Sometimes I make my own barbecue sauce, but I have some commercial barbecue sauces I'm going to use for this one. But when I add the barbecue sauce to the ketchup and a few other ingredients, and then when it's almost done, then I'll add the glaze and then put it back on for just a few more minutes to really solidify that glaze. I've had some people tell me they prefer to have the sauce on the side. That's fine. If that's the way you prefer to do it, there is no issue with that for me. I'm never going to tell anybody how they ought to cook something. But don't tell me that I should put it on the side either. We happen to like it on it, and that's how she likes it, so that's how we're going to do it. Sometimes I will reserve a little bit to be dipped, but there is something to having that glaze on the top. Honestly, that's really what meatloaf is about. However you want to do that glaze. Now, traditionally they use just ketchup. I don't like that at all, but I do use ketchup with some various barbecue sauce and some other seasonings that I like to make my own spin on a classic, I suppose. Really smelling good now. I got some nice smoke. In fact, I think I'm going to drop just a couple chunks of maple on here as I'm talking to you. As my oak is burning. So I like to use that oak every once in a while when I have it, because the oak provides heat. It really gives you a nice fire. Keeps that fire going for you. And again, it gives you just a very light smoke. So you add another wood. If I was doing a brisket or maybe even a pork, but I might add hickory. But because I'm doing a meatloaf and a sweet potatoes, I don't want the smoke to be overpowering. And I had some maple, and I've also got some apple wood, I believe. But I chose to go with the maple that I had here. So I think it'll be a nice complement to both the sweet taters and the meatloaf. So there you go. Eminence fronts, put it on. Had a chance to be out here again for a lot of reasons. It's been an interesting year for me. Back in May, I had to have surgery on my knee for meniscus tear. About a month later, I had to have surgery. I knew I was going to have a knee, but then about a month later, I had to have hernia surgery. That one I wasn't expecting. And then I knew I was going to have at least one hand done. So I'm hoping to avoid the right hand, but I may have to have it done as well. But what they did is that they did the carpal tunnel release, and then tried to repair 2 trigger fingers on this hand, and then he just gave me injections on the hand, and so far that's working. I just don't know how long those injections last. If you can hear, Gilby Clark can't get that stuff out on the rides. Anyway, cheers, y'all. It's a nice, easy drinking lighter. It's not necessarily exciting beer, but maybe that's not what you're in the mood for. And quite frankly, in a day like today, it's nice just to have it. It's one of those drinking beers. If I was going to, the aromas are there, but they're light. If I was going to say a picnic barbecue where it was mostly macro drinking friends, this would be a great beer to take. And quite frankly, I paid 13 and change for a 15-pack, so this was actually less expensive than some first-tier macro. So I don't know why you'd buy those when you can get a quality lager like this, in my opinion. I mean, if you like rice and corn, by all means. Drink a sweet, lazy beer if you like. If that's what you want, by golly. But I prefer a beer with some flavor. So there you go. But here I have an easy drinking beer, and it's adjunct free. Trying to get that glare moved on me. Went to a different spot. There we go. Yeah, I ain't gonna work it. Can't get that stuff no more. Can't so this song. Gilby Clarke is. He actually spent some time with MC5 at Heart, did the Rockstar Supernova, but he's known as more being a hard rock. Actually spent some time with Guns N' Roses, I guess I should mention, but as well. Known more as kind of a hard rock player, but this song is very bluesy, man. This guy's got a lot of chops. Very underrated guitar player and singer, for that matter. So I hope everybody's having a fine Sunday. I'm gonna take a little break from the beer here after this one and finish up my meal here. So anyway, a little wind coming. Can't get that stuff no more. Anyway, I lost myself for a second. I'm gonna find myself. I am Todd BeerVangelist, BeerVangelist, living beer drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom man. All around good guy. Everybody have a good one. Cheers, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Hope I didn't get any on you.